If you're watching this video, then very likely you lack power on your serve. Unfortunately, a lot of the common tips, like scratch your back on the serve or try to get into the trophy pose, actually destroy the power potential on your serve. This happens because they stop you from hitting with a fluid motion, and all great servers hit with a fluid motion where the racket moves right to left over the head, and this is absolutely essential if you want to develop a powerful serve.
So what does a fluid motion look like? You want your racket to move right to left over your head like this, and then in a continuous motion all the way to contact. And that's the real key to developing effortless power. Now, one of the most common pieces of advice on the serve is scratch your back, and that is actually really bad advice because it stops your racket. Another thing that happens a lot of times is players, they will stop the racket in the so-called trophy pose right here and have a pause in the motion. These two are real killer moves on your serve that you absolutely want to avoid. Let's take a quick look at a super slow motion comparison.
On the left, we will see a continuous motion without a stop, and on the right, you will see a stop in what is often called the trophy pose. Now, I want you to take a very close look from right here. What happens? On the left, we'll see that the racket goes through continuously without a stop all the way up to the contact point. And on the right, the racket stopped in the so-called trophy pose. Let's take a look at that one more time.
Okay, so how can you work on a fluid motion? I'm going to show you a progression of drills that will help you get a good feeling for the fluid motion. What I want you to start with, I want you to set up as if you're going to serve. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the racket in this position. As you can see, the tip of the racket is pointing to the right fence. And from here, I can practice that right to left movement over my head. And we want to go right to left over the head and then continuously let that racket travel up to contact without a stop. So what's the drill going to look like? I'm setting up like this. I have a ball in my hand and I'm just going to start from here, toss the ball up and hit it over to the other side. Once again, it really doesn't matter where it goes. You don't want to focus on that. You want to focus on getting a feeling for that fluid motion. So let me demonstrate right here. Setting up like this. Toss and hit in a fluid motion. That was actually a bad toss. Let me go again. And right there. That was pretty good. Start here and then move in a fluid motion. Now, one thing you can see is the toss is relatively low. That's necessary because otherwise you would have to slow down and stop back here. So keep that toss relatively low and then start hitting quite a few like that. And once you get better, you can then start hitting some where you incorporate the full motion. So now I would actually start here, but you will get to this point anyways, and you just keep going. Okay, so let me show that. A couple more. So starting here. And now you can still see that my racket travels on that right to left path over my head without a stop, up to contact, and that's really what the fluid motion is all about.
So let's take a look at that in super slow motion. From this position, the racket is going to travel right to left over my head, as you can see right here. The right to left movement is extremely important. Let's take a look at that one more time. It's going to move right to left over my head, and then it will continue without a stop all the way up to contact. If you're ready to develop your fluid motion and transform your serve, then click the link inside this video to get all the details on my Serve Blueprint video training program.